High school can be a drag, and my bunch of friends, we had this unspoken pact to have each other's back, no matter what. We were the outcasts together, the ones who didn't fit in with the popular crowd. It's like we were our own little family, looking out for each other. One night, as we were hanging out at our usual spot, someone suggested a prank on the seniors. It was their last night in high school, and we thought it would be fun to give them a scare. We came up with a plan. We'd sneak into the school after dark and hide in the old chemistry lab. When the seniors came in for their graduation practice, we'd jump out and scare them. It all started as a joke, a way to break the monotony of our last year. Little did we know the scary turn our prank was going to take that night. Everyone seemed excited about it, until later that evening when the clock struck 10, it suddenly hit us that we could actually get caught. I was all about backing out, but most of my friends decided to go with the plan anyway. I couldn't leave them to do it alone, so I agreed, convincing myself it couldn't be that bad. We waited in the lab for what felt like forever, the tension in the air so thick you could cut it with a knife. My heart pounded against my chest, and my hands shook. Then we heard footsteps outside the door. The door creaked open, and the seniors walked in. There were only two of them in their long black robes and graduation caps, and with their heads bent forward. As soon as they entered our dark lab and gazed at the center table, they froze in their steps. We all charged at them, and I saw a huge knife in one of their hands. It quickly became apparent that this prank had taken a deadly turn. We were not dealing with scared seniors looking for a harmless fun prank as much as they were with full-blown robbers who knew how to kill. We hadn't anticipated the knife, and we were caught off guard. One of my friends, Jake, let out a gut-wrenching scream, clutching his leg, blood seeping through his fingers, and fell to the floor. My heart sank. We had to get out of there. We made a break for the door, but the seniors were too fast. They cornered us in the lab, trapping us like rats in a cage. In the midst of the chaos, I remember one of the seniors taking off their cap and turning around to face us. He had a twisted smile on his face, and I knew then that we were done for. He plunged the knife into my friend's chest, and she fell to the ground, lifeless, her eyes wide with terror. Suddenly, there was this other stranger along with the two seniors. I had not seen him before, and I didn't remember him coming in with them. This strange man who was with the seniors had these unusually sharp, gleaming eyes that were black as night. The seniors were moving at his command. We couldn't take them on. I backed away slowly, my eyes fixed on the stranger, looking for an escape route. Maybe if I could manage to distract them, I would be able to get out of the room and get someone to help. I ran, not knowing where I was going. I ran through the hallways, my footsteps echoing in the empty school. I knew I couldn't go to the main entrance. I would most likely run into them there, so I ran through the hallways, choosing random turns with the hope of being able to lose them or reach a place I could lock myself into, hide and call for help. In my panic, I ended up in some dusty old storage room. As I quickly glanced around the room, hoping to find a way out, I saw the long, abandoned laboratory coats hanging on the wall. An idea flashed through my mind, and I grabbed one. I quickly put it on, hoping to disguise myself as a janitor or someone who worked there. I crept out of the storage room and into the hallway. I could hear the seniors' footsteps getting closer, and I knew I had to move fast. I walked quickly, trying to blend in with the shadows, my heart pounding against my chest. I managed to get out of the school and into the safety of the night. Once I was sure I had lost them, I called the cops and told them everything that had happened. As the police arrived at the school, I watched in disbelief, standing in the dark with tears streaming down my face, the horror of what had happened sinking in. I watched as the seniors and the mysterious stranger were led out of the school in handcuffs. I never found out who they were or why they had targeted us, why they had murdered my friends, why they had turned what was supposed to be a harmless prank into a terrible nightmare. To this day, I still get chills when I think about that night. I see the gleam of the stranger's eyes in my dreams, and I hear the sound of my friend's screams. The memory of that night has stayed with me, a constant reminder of the darkness that can lurk in the most unexpected places. As a student at Rosewood High, I never imagined I'd be caught in the middle of a spine-chilling nightmare. It all started on a Tuesday afternoon, as the sun cast long, eerie shadows over the school's crimson facade. I was alone in the library, immersed in a world of words, when I heard it, a faint clicking sound, like someone stealthily approaching. I froze, my heart pounding in my chest. The sound grew louder, closer, until it became unmistakable. Footsteps. I slowly looked up and saw a man standing in the doorway. He was tall and lanky, with a sinister smile that sent shivers down my spine. His eyes were jet black, glinting with an unknown menace. "Excuse me, miss," he said in a raspy voice. "Have you seen Sarah?" I blinked in confusion. Sarah was my classmate. Everyone knew her.
No, istamarat.
Why? His smile widened, revealing a row of sharp, yellowed teeth. "You'd be surprised where she is right now." I backed away, sensing danger. "Who are you?" I demanded. He leaned closer, his breath hot and pungent. "The one who's going to take you where she's gone." In that instant, instinct took over. I lunged at the man, grabbing his arm with all my strength. He laughed maniacally, pushing me away with ease. I fell hard, my head crashing into a bookshelf. The room spun as darkness enveloped me. When I regained consciousness, the man was gone. So was Sarah. Fear gnawed at me as I stumbled out of the library. The corridors were deserted, the crimson walls casting an ominous glow. Suddenly, I heard a piercing scream. It was coming from the third floor. Summoning every ounce of courage, I ran towards the sound. As I reached the top of the stairs, I gasped in horror. Sarah lay on the floor, her eyes wide with terror, her body covered in blood. Next to her stood the man from the library. He smirked at me, as if mocking my helplessness. Panic surged through me as I realized there was no escape. He lunged at me, his eyes blazing with a sinister hunger. But as he approached, the room began to shift. The crimson walls pulsed and throbbed, their color intensifying into a sickening shade of burgundy. The lights flickered, casting grotesque shadows around us. The man stumbled backward, his eyes wide with disbelief. The crimson corridor warped and twisted around him, trapping him in a swirling vortex of blood-red light. He screamed in agony as the corridor consumed him, his body disappearing into nothing. As the crimson madness subsided, the room returned to its original state. Sarah was gone, her blood-soaked form vanished without a trace. And the man was nowhere to be found. I stumbled out of the school into the cool night air. The crimson corridor had disappeared, leaving only a sense of unease that would haunt me forever. Sarah and the man from the library were never found, but the horrors I witnessed that day would forever be etched into my memory, a grim reminder of the sinister darkness that could lurk in the halls of Rosewood High. As the leaves turned vibrant shades of autumn, an air of anticipation filled the halls of Willow Creek High School. Our senior trip, a rite of passage into adulthood, was just around the corner. However, fate had a sinister plan for us that year, as Ms. Klauls, our enigmatic new chaperone, would forever taint our collective memory. Ms. Klauls, with her piercing gaze and enigmatic smile, seemed like an anomaly amidst our boisterous chatter. She never joined our conversations and carried an air of unsettling aloofness. As the departure day approached, a growing unease spread among us. We couldn't shake the feeling that she was watching us, always watching. We boarded the bus, eager to escape the mundane and embrace the adventures that lay ahead. But Miss Klauls' presence cast a pall over our excitement. Her stoic facade became more pronounced, her gaze fixed on the passing scenery. As we ventured deeper into the countryside, a thick fog enveloped the road, isolating us from the comforting lights of civilization. As the bus lurched to a halt, a piercing screech cut through the silence. We stumbled out, blinded by the dense fog and the ominous quiet that had replaced the hum of the engine. Miss Klauls was gone, vanished into the ethereal grayness. Fear gnawed at our minds. Lost and alone, we wandered aimlessly through the barren landscape. Suddenly, a faint sound broke the silence. Footsteps. Cautiously, we followed the noise, our hearts pounding with each tread. Through the swirling mist, we made out a shadowy figure, lanky and menacing. The figure lunged, sending us scattering in terror. I tripped over a root and fell, the world spinning around me. As darkness enveloped me, I fought against the rising tide of panic. When my vision returned, the fog had lifted, and our surroundings were eerily familiar. We were standing in front of Willow Creek High School, our laughter and excitement replaced by a profound sense of horror. The days that followed were a blur of nightmares and whispers. Some claimed to have seen Miss Klauls lurking in the school's hallways, her presence both taunting and sinister. Others swore they heard her footsteps echoing in the silent night. As the fog lifted, fear remained, a constant reminder of the true horror we had endured. The year Miss Klauls spoiled our senior trip was a lesson we would never forget. The line between reality and nightmare had blurred, leaving us forever haunted by the knowledge that even in the most ordinary of places, darkness could lurk, waiting for the right moment to strike.